It is April 15th. This is the current situation. I just started nannying for a friend. And I'm also a preschool teacher, part-time. So I figured if I can't have my own kids right now, might as well get paid to take care of someone else's. Thought at first it would like help my baby fever, but I still can't decide if it's like making it worse or not. Just being honest. I'm filming because I just got off the phone with the hospital, which is where I am supposed to be doing my HSG test, which is basically to see if my fallopian tubes are even open, if eggs are even dropping, because if my fallopian tubes are closed, there isn't even a chance of me having a child. Of course, miracles happen, but yeah, so that's kind of like the last piece of this whole preconception testing before maybe exploring other options. I don't even know if I've like gotten into my journey so far because I don't know what I said in the last video I filmed. But to catch you guys up to speed, I got off birth control in July of 2022. We were just approaching our first year wedding anniversary and wanted to start family planning. I met with my OBGYN because I know that's important to just have that initial conversation with her, put it on her radar, update my file with the fact that my husband and I were trying, see if there was any advice she had for first-time starters. I don't know. Literally her advice was like, have fun and don't drink alcohol. Well, I already don't drink as it is, so that was an easy one. And that was literally it. So again, that was just another reason why I felt like, oh my gosh, this is gonna happen so easily and so quickly because there's really not much more I need to do. And she basically told me that after a year of trying is when I should come back in and start like fertility testing and kind of considering other options. But that was a year from then. So I'm like, psh, that won't be me. LOL at me thinking like it would literally just happen on the first try or within the first couple months, because that's been the story of all my friends and family. So it is April of 2024 and I'm still not pregnant. Never been pregnant, never had a positive pregnancy test. Clearly that is not my story. God has a different plan. My arm is really hurting. This is work, okay? We got one arm pushing, one arm filming. But once we went about, I guess, almost a year of having unprotected sex, let's call it what it is, Alex could just tell it was weighing on me more than I ever thought. And I know we had still a few months to go before actually reaching like a total year of trying. And so Alex was like, you know, what could it hurt to start this testing early? Because who knows how long appointments are gonna take or how much time all the testing is gonna take to get results and all that stuff. Like, and before you know it, maybe it will be a whole year. So I jumped right on that idea and I was like, yes, let's do it. I think in September of 22 is when we started like our first testing. Of course, the males have it easier than the females. So Alex's testing was kind of like a one-stop shop and quick. Mine, on the other hand, was like 3 different appointments of blood work and then maybe 2 different appointments of like ultrasounds and going to the OBGYN, which I'm happy to report that so far all the results we've gotten back are healthy, are normal, nothing alarming. So that's good, but it still leaves me wondering like, then what's going on? But if anything, it's just causing me to trust God more and communicate with him more, which is never a bad thing. But not gonna lie, it is a little frustrating. So after I got like the majority of my blood work done, I went back to the OBGYN to kind of talk to her about next steps or if there's anything else I should be doing during this time. And she basically said there was 2 things left. before she was going to diagnose me with unexplained infertility, which I guess is more common than we think. I'm so thankful that more women are being open about like their fertility journeys, and women are also like having kids later in life. So that also is encouraging. The two things that my OBGYN recommended for me to do before giving me that diagnosis is she ordered one more blood test to like test my ovarian reserve, which is kind of cool that you could do that through your blood. Basically to test like the quantity of my eggs, but it was just gonna be like a general number. And then she ordered an HSG test for me, which is to test my fallopian tubes. Basically they inject like this solution through like a catheter type thing. Sorry if this is TMI. They do it over an x-ray machine so you can get like instant results, which is pretty cool. But they basically just see if like the solution goes all the way through your fallopian tubes or if something's blocking it or whatnot, and you can get some answers that way. So yeah, I wasn't in the right headspace last year to like complete those last two tests. And now that we're in a new year and we're still not pregnant, I was like, all right, let me revisit those two last tests, right? So I did the ovarian reserve test back in February, and my OBGYN said that my number is adequate. So that means it's good enough, right? But that it is technically on the lower side for my age. I'm 30. So I think naturally, like, obviously the older you get, like the lower your numbers are gonna be for your ovarian reserve. So I'm not super like shaken up about that result. My OBGYN didn't seem worried, so it is what it is. And then I have my HSG test scheduled for Wednesday. But the whole reason why I even picked up my camera was to get to this point and say that I got off the phone with the hospital who's conducting the test, and they just told me the cost, which I've always known that fertility stuff, treatments, whatever, is gonna cost a lot of money, and you have to pay out of pocket most of the time because insurance and this and that. But like, I'm not even down that road yet. And with all the testing that I have done, like I've maybe paid like a $20 copay at my OBGYN, like at most. Regardless, I was just not expecting the HSG test to be much different than anything else. And it's gonna end up being around $1,600 with my insurance. So I haven't told my husband yet. I'm waiting for him to call me back. He's at work. But that is interesting. Not gonna lie, I wanted to like cry at first, but I guess this is just the reality of it. So I wanted to just like capture that update because I don't know what we're gonna do. There is kind of this whole little mini God story behind this appointment. So part of me just wants to like hold on to that piece because I had already like had Wednesday off from work. Like I requested that off months ago for something totally unrelated. And obviously the appointment would be during work. So like I was worried about like, oh my gosh, putting in a request last minute. But I checked my calendar and I'm like, oh my gosh, I already have that day off. So my initial reaction was like, okay, God already went before me and prepared this day for this appointment. And Alex is able to go with me. And just like the timing of how it all lined up and how quickly the hospital was able to get me in, like I did have a lot of peace about it. And I think I just need to remind myself of that. $1,600 bill is not helping my peace. So I don't know what God's trying to do with that. Maybe nothing. Maybe it's just like, yeah, Janae, pay it and move on. This is a part of the process. Like, and maybe it's also just like, I just still didn't think this would be my story. Like I didn't think I would be here. And I just found out another one of my friends was pregnant yesterday. So I'm like, okay, God, you clearly see me, but what are you doing? What are you doing? So stay tuned, but that appointment, if I go through with it, is in 2 days. So anyways, I gotta get this baby inside, and maybe I'll be back in just 2 days to have an update. It's April 17th. What time is it? 2:07. If I sound stuffy or look puffy, it's because I've been crying for like the past hour and I don't want to start crying again, but I was supposed to have my HSG test at 12:30 and we made it all the way to the hospital, parked, dealt with like just the craziness of trying to get to the right place, filling out paperwork, swiping the card for $1,500 and all of that, to be told that I could not do the test today because I was not on the right cycle day, which nobody told me. I gave all the information they needed during pre-registration, during my scheduling appointment weeks ago now, and everyone seemed like I could still go through with this test and I had so much peace about it. And I'm just like, I don't know what God's up to. I don't know what he's up to, but through all this disappointment and frustration, because now it's just like more waiting. Now I have to wait at least another like month before I can reschedule this appointment and get it done on the right day. I'm headed to Orlando for a fun-filled weekend with friends and family, so that'll keep me distracted. So I'm thankful God lined all that up, but I just thought today was the day I was gonna get more answers. It just made sense to me, and now it just doesn't make sense. But I'm hopeful that one day it will. But oh well, it's just another chapter in my journey. But I'm just exhausted, so that's all for now.